I'm excited that you're here with us today. We get to talk over what it really looks like to add content to a Copilot notebook and create those study materials for students. Now, what's extra exciting about this is the opportunity that we have to ensure that the work that you're doing matches student needs. It's not just about generating stuff randomly for AI. My name is Becky Keene. I'm an author, speaker, educator, background. You can find me on any social media platform if you want to connect with me individually, but definitely be following Fidgel Labs, and I'm the CEO of Fidgel Labs. This is a Teams meeting, so we want to make sure that you know how to operate that. Please feel free to use the chat. We want you to interact and engage with me at any time. Don't hit that red button until it's time to leave the meeting. And we do have mics and videos off for our recorded webinars just to keep data privacy safe and minimize distractions, but you can use the chat at any time. This call is being recorded. So let's just jump in. And in fact, I have a chat question ready for you here. Currently, you can feel free to post this to the chat and we'll engage with each other that way. How do your learners access study aids currently? So flashcards, quizzes, tutoring, coaching, remediation, mastery practice, exam prep. What are the things that your students are doing now to access those study materials? I would love to see that coming in our chat. Let me just take a peek at the chat coming in over here on the other side. See what we already have coming from our crew. So we've got a few people typing. And I'll put this message in the chat as well. All right, so Genevieve already letting us know, hey, they download the study guides from the course itself. Okay, so there might be PDFs or PowerPoints that your students are downloading from your class team or your Canvas course, right? Right, what are some other options? Are they making their own? Are they purchasing them? What does that look like? Okay, oh, some apps coming in. Yeah, oh, AP Classroom, Khan Academy, College Board, all have these kind of prep environments. I saw a video just yesterday ranking those different environments. Someone said ChatGPT, right? They're using that to study, even though we know that that's not always going to be the best option, and it's just giving them answers in many cases instead of actually helping them study. Okay, so these are great additions. We are here today to talk about the merger of a few different tools that brings us Microsoft 365 Copilot Notebooks. I love that the thing has stolen my heart for the last 20 plus years, OneNote, can be a Copilot notebook. It is an AI assistant that's running on Microsoft's AI, which is Copilot, we call it. Anytime Microsoft's generative AI appears, it's a Copilot-powered tool. And then it allows us to think, plan, and create together. We can share Copilot notebooks. So these are tools that are maybe built on things we're already familiar with, but adding that 2026 layer of technology that brings new understanding of what's possible to our world. And I just absolutely love that. So first, I need to make sure you're aware of what Copilot Notebooks is. So Copilot Notebooks is one place to house many different resources. And if you're a OneNote fan, then you for a very long time have been adding links and images and printouts and even audio and video files into your OneNote notebooks. And so this has a very similar feel where we're bringing in multiple sources of content, up to 300 sources per notebook, coming from Word, PowerPoint, PDF, web links. You're in charge of what gets added. So when I say cited and trustworthy responses, that's because you're giving it the information that it's using to answer your questions and build study guides. So you have already vetted it. It's not just going out to the internet and pulling in whatever article. So that's very exciting. The second thing is it allows you to really understand your thinking process and your students' thinking process. You don't have to think just, be flinging information out to the internet. It gives you guidance from inside that set of materials. There's even mind map options, audio overviews, the amazing features we've come to expect from these types of environments. And finally, we can actually generate things that come out of the tool. So not only are we putting resources into the Copilot Notebook, we're able to pull things out of the Copilot Notebook without rebuilding it, without having to work really hard to figure out, where the notes are on a particular project or topic or unit. We can do all of that within one incredibly grounded environment. What's incredibly exciting about layering onto Copilot Notebooks is the study guide feature. Now that's only available for education. Copilot Notebooks are now free for education with even a basic Copilot chat account, and study guide is free as well. So study guide builds in those review materials that you might want to use with your students, and they can be building them, or you can be building them and then sharing those notebooks back with your students. So you'll see a little screenshot here of a Copilot notebook open in OneNote, the OneNote app, and you can see these tools and pages that have been brought into that notebook are appearing in OneNote. So I'm going to be demoing in the browser today. I use Edge browser, but just keep in mind that we can open and view that in a OneNote notebook also, in OneNote desktop and even on OneNote mobile. I don't know about you, but I have a Copilot Notebooks button right there inside OneNote on my phone, which is something that is just completely new and exciting. So here's kind of where we're headed. We're focused on the study materials part. We're not focused on everything that Copilot Notebooks can do. And if you're here and you're already familiar with Notebook LM, it's incredibly similar. So again, if you have that background, it kind of levels you up a little bit. If you've never seen Notebook LM, that's totally fine. It's just another one of these types of tools that helps us curate many different resources together and then run AI-powered benefit on top of it. But we're going to be focusing more on study guide, the study guide portion of Copilot Notebooks, how to access it, how to create it, how to modify it, and also how to just use it all up and share it with your learners, or have them even share it with each other. All right, so we're going to get started by saying, okay, what is a study guide, first of all? So a study guide inside the Microsoft 365 Copilot app can look like this. So let me just give you a little overview of what we're seeing on the screen. This is a study guide about the human heart. So this is an anatomy class, and a student or an instructor has created this notebook. They've added materials, references, 3 in fact, to this notebook, and then asked Copilot to create a study guide. The study guide has multiple pages that pull in the information, not from anywhere on the internet, not from Reddit, not from your favorite website, but from the materials it was given. It's pulling down different summary pages, and then finally also some interactive pages with matching activities, flashcards, and so on. There's a summary here, some insights. I can do some quick creations. Mind map is now appearing for lots of people also as an option. And then finally, I have the opportunity to use Copilot Chat, and it's grounded inside these materials. So I can ask it questions, ask it to help me learn something, ask it to review something or put it in different terminology, maybe help me fix some misconceptions, etc., all built into this one really focused space. So I know those of you who are on the call are thinking, yeah, I want to see this live. Like, show me what this actually looks like. So I have a demo environment open right here. So I'm going to just drag that over. And you'll notice, first of all, this is on what we call first release. So you might see something a little different than your M365 environment, because this is going to be showing you the latest and greatest. Like, for example, you'll notice Cowork is sitting here. And yes, I've been playing with that as well. But for today, for our focus, I'm going to go up to the app launcher, affectionately called the waffle. and head on into notebooks. Now, if you're not seeing that yet, get in touch with your IT department, your IT admin, and say, hey, I want to be using Copilot Notebooks. Make sure that everything is enabled in your tenant because this is free for education and has been rolling out worldwide for the past week or so. So very simple to create a notebook. I always create a notebook using the life cycles topic because it's just simple and straightforward. So I already have one, but I'm going to go ahead and choose new notebook here so we can walk through what this looks like. So let's say I have some information about life cycles for my fourth grade science class. I've always taught in the United States, so I talk about fourth graders. That's about 10-year-olds here in the US, and I can add a cover photo and an emoji if I want to. More importantly, I can add some information. So I've got a life cycles presentation, and I'll just select this. Because it's already stored in my OneDrive or in my SharePoint sites, I can find it really quickly. Here's a PDF. Here's a OneNote notebook that has to do with life cycles, a lesson plan, right? I can also, you'll notice, navigate into other files, meetings I've had, SharePoint sites. I can upload, link to something online, or attach something from my OneDrive. So lots of different options here. And in fact, in my OneDrive, I have a folder, okay, in my files called Life Cycles. And I have this Mama Robin story and a mammal story and a Very Hungry Caterpillar. So I'm going to go ahead and add those things into my notebook. I'm not going to add Very Hungry Caterpillar for right now and click Create. Now this will take a moment to spin up, but look at what it's doing. It's going in and creating this environment where it's going to summarize. We're going to try that later. Thanks, Copilot. It's going to create an overview page of everything that's been captured. So all those resources that I uploaded, those references. It's also finding additional content in my OneDrive that's like, hey, did you want to add this as well? Once it creates that overview, it's also going to give me an opportunity to create an audio, a mind map of everything, an infographic, which is in Frontier, which means that's like an early release. It's not generally available yet. I could also create a spreadsheet, a presentation, or a document, all based on this information. Now, you may see different things here based on your licensing, but Copilot Notebooks and Study Guide are free. So now it's created a notebook. I can ask it questions, right? This is just the notebook piece. If I've created this for my students, I can go ahead and click Share in the top right-hand corner. And then what this does is allows me to add individual names or a group. So if your Office 365 or Microsoft 365 tenant is using Microsoft 365 groups, for example, Mrs. Keen's fourth grade scholars, if that's a team and a group in M365, then you could add that entire group here. You don't have to type in every student's email. I know that's really cumbersome for secondary teachers with hundreds of students. You'll notice that once you share this content, remember the students can access all the references. So if you're going to put in an answer key here, make sure that you know that that's what you want your students to see long term. So this is, again, it's just the notebook. When I select Study Guide, it's going to ask me for some more input. We already have a summary that's already been built. But then I can say, hey, would you build some topic pages for me? Would you build some flashcards, maybe a quiz, maybe a fill in the blank, maybe some matching? You'll see that these things are just rolling out. And by the way, if you load in a 50-page PDF, it may not pull in everything. Just keep that in mind. Massive amounts of information are not going to always be included, and we can't use protected content. So if you have something that's behind a password or a login, then AI isn't able to do that on your behalf. So Study Guide is going to work to create a preview. Now, this does take a few minutes. So while this is running, we're going to go ahead and open another window. So we're not waiting too long on that during our precious time together. And we're going to go ahead and pull up a different notebook, one that's already been created. Oh, and this one might not have study guide. If I stopped. Oh no, this one doesn't have study guide yet either. I so apologize. I thought it did. Let's look at story analysis. Okay, loading story analysis. Oh, this one doesn't either. Oh no. Sometimes when we're using these demo accounts, we delete out content. And I may have deleted out my study guide that's prepped, but this one is ready. So it's figuring out some topics for the summary and the topic pages. And I'm going to say, great, go ahead and create that. So now it's actually building up here in the created content section. You're going to see loop pages start to appear. And that's where Copilot has, again, curated just the information in the data set that I have given it. And it's creating activities and resources based on that content. So let's take a look. I'm going to grab this matching activity. It's already been generated. Okay. It's bringing it in as a learning activity. Now, if you haven't seen these yet from Microsoft, then you're in for a great surprise. Learning activities actually can be launched outside of Study Guide, but we're here to talk about Study Guide. So they're built in as a loop component to this notebook. This is a matching activity, so I'm going to hit start game. You'll notice there's a timer. It's a little bit gamified here. And I'm going to have to start, oh no, I'm thinking about matching these terms together. And if I get one wrong, oh, I meant to get it wrong. Okay, then it's going to say, hey, nope, right? And I have to switch to something else. There we go. So now I'm completing the activity and it's going to give me some feedback. I got a good time, 3 in a row, 75% accuracy. I can view my summary or play again. So this is giving me instant feedback as a learner on these terms that maybe I need to have ready for an upcoming assessment. Flashcards are going to work in a really similar way. The big difference with flashcards is the ability that I have to check myself. So if I'm looking at life cycle and I'm trying to memorize these terms for an upcoming test, here's the definition. If I knew that, I can check, yeah, I got it. And that's now tucked away in my I know this card. But if I come up to something I don't know, first of all, I can show a hint. And secondly, I can say, okay, I didn't know that one. Still learning. Now, when I go through these flashcards again, me, the individual student, I can shuffle them all. I can look at the summary of my learning, but I don't have to go through the cards I already know unless I choose to, unless I say, you know what, I want to look through everything again. As the teacher, I can edit these cards before they go out to students. I always recommend checking the work, of course, that goes out. The next thing is a quiz. Now, this is powered by forms. And what I love about this is that it's not graded. So don't come at me with the questions about, well, where do I see the grades? No, that's not the point. This is a study tool, not an assessment tool. So students can go in and take this assessment. I'm just going to, I'm going to type in a couple things here. It's not even a word. Tadpole, fly, caterpillar. Okay, these are all wrong, right? They all have stages. I'm just finishing up this quiz, and this is a self-check. This is a self-check, okay? So I'm going to fill this out and submit. And then from right inside this tool, as a student, I can go in and see the responses and explanations for if I got it wrong. Now, as a teacher, I have built forms for students, and let me tell you, putting in answer explanations is like, because you've already created this quiz, and the last thing you want to do is then add answer explanations for absolutely everything. For us, Copilot is building that on our behalf for free with Copilot Notebooks for study guides. So that is phenomenal. Now, these are the interactives that we talked about. Let's go back into just the study materials. It's going to come with this overview summary page. It's going to be visually kind of appealing to look at, some emojis, headlines, bullet points, very organized. It's also going to give sources. Now, I love this because for our older students who are really digging into materials, especially upper secondary, higher education for sure, they might want to know where this information came from. If they're seeing something that they weren't aware of, if it's new information for them, they're like, wait, where was that in the course materials? It's sourcing that. So they can go straight to those course materials that are referenced here in the notebook and get more information about it. It's also going to bring in a glossary of key terms, very helpful. And it's always going to generate some common misconceptions as well, like all animals provide care for their young. Reptiles bounce, right? Very little parental care. So it's giving them things that they might have learned incorrectly or just assumed incorrectly about any topic. Then it's created these study pages. Now, these are informational pages, but what's great about this is it's breaking down the topic. It's giving them examples to think about. It's giving them little questions. It's almost like an interactive textbook. And what's really exciting here is that I can choose to add at any time. I can add references to this notebook. So I'm going to choose plus reference. And then remember, I didn't choose the Very Hungry Caterpillar PDF. It's for this reason. So I'm going to add now a new resource. And what I can choose to do is refresh this entire notebook based on adding another source. Now, right now, it's telling me that it had a little issue. Fill in the blanks couldn't be generated. Some content may contain sensitive information. I have had this happen before when I'm generating about things like human anatomy or reproduction. Copilot will be like, oh, I don't know if we should put this in an activity, and kind of put it back on you as the teacher to make sure that the content you're sharing with students is completely appropriate, not just generating something with AI and then calling it good. So I love that it has some checks in place. Now, we've just dug into everything you can do inside the notebook. And I want to remind you that you can open this notebook at any time in real OneNote. OneNote desktop app. You could open this notebook straight in there and use all of these interactives. Now, you wouldn't necessarily have the chat right on the right-hand side, but you'd have the content to study from, which means that students can be accessing the pages and using them offline. If their OneNote notebook is syncing, then they can be seeing and studying with these materials. They do need internet access for the learning activities, the things that are, clearly web connected, right? These are interactive, they're on countdowns, they're doing things that require an internet connection. But for the study guides, the pages, if they're offline, they could still be studying from and looking at those things. Other details here, I can give this notebook custom instructions, meaning something that it follows every single time. Maybe I want it to do certain things for the students, maybe direct them a certain way or give them guidance in a certain way. And then, of course, I can rename the notebook as well if I get stuck. So this is something that is going to be incredibly exciting and powerful. And I bet just by seeing this overview page, you're already like, oh my goodness, I really want to try audio overview. I want to try mind map. I want to try all of these tools. We were focused for our half an hour, laser focused on study guide. Now, if you happen to be at the ISTE conference, I will be there too. I'll actually be presenting this and more about Copilot Notebooks and Study and Learn at the ISTE conference in Orlando next week alongside Anu Pate, which I'm very excited about. If you're interested in learning more about Copilot, Digital Labs offers a variety of workshops, free webinars like this one, as well as schools and systems and organizations in K-12 and higher education, bringing us in to deliver customized experiences for faculty, staff, and students. And you can find all of our presentations and options available specifically to Copilot at this custom URL, digitallabs.com/Copilot, which I'm going to put in the chat and in your follow-up email. Also, if you're looking to get in touch with us, you can see us at ISTE Live and also at Serious Play over the summer. We're a sponsor of Serious Play, and we are big fans of really getting our hands dirty with learning. not just doing things behind a screen, but digging into games, game-based learning, playful learning, and passion-based projects that allow students to do bigger and better things. We'd love to work with you. You can check out all of our workshops from digitallabs.com. And if you don't already get our news inside the labs, we definitely want to make sure that you do sign up to follow us and make sure that you don't miss out on other free digital learning opportunities like this one. So thanks so much, everyone, for jumping in and joining us today. Again, my name is Becky, and it's been great to have you here. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up this call. So I'll check the chat and just see if we've got anything else that I need to answer as we're going along. Okay, so one question I definitely want to answer here that came in just a moment ago. Can students access and create study guides? Yes. This is available for anyone. I'm going to go ahead and just stop screen sharing. For anyone 13 and up with Copilot Chat enabled in education. So there's some caveats, right? Copilot Chat must be enabled, and that is true for 13 and up in our education systems, and that's a Microsoft policy. So if you don't see it for your staff or students, check with your IT department and make sure that it's been enabled. All right, I'll stick around and make sure that you have information from the chat. I'm going to leave you with the Learn module that actually was created by Digital Labs about Copilot Notebooks. If you want to learn more on your own, you can do that. And I'm also going to leave you with our landing page for all things AI. So if you're interested in checking out some of our other workshops, we have a variety of options available. Good to see you, Diana. All right, have a great evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you next time.